We're getting straight into it with Monday's Independent. And Nick, what is Annalise Dodds up to?
Well, she said that Labour would introduce no loopholes ban on conversion therapy. It's one of these euphemistic terms where you go, oh, that sounds fine, but then, of course, you look into it. It's a trans-inclusive ban on conversion therapy, which basically means you won't be able to guide a kid anymore and say, are you sure this is a great idea? They call that conversion therapy now. So this puts children at risk if you get rid of that idea. So very worrying development, the kind of thing that's going to happen under Labour, which is why people should be worried about them. People saying it can't be worse than the Tories. It absolutely can. The other thing is, she says people responsible for anti-LGBT plus hate crime would also receive the tougher sentences they deserve, which could mean, let's face it, a rude tweet or something, and then suddenly you'll be cracked down on by Labour.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on this, Victor?
Yeah, well, I mean, if this comes in, I can see a lot of African priests are going to be out of work.
It is a worry. It is a worry.
But in some ways, I'm with it. But I think if you're allowed to encourage,
yes,
then you should be allowed to discourage. That's one thing.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, if people want to say they want to identify as a woman, a bear, a flying eagle, whatever, you need to go all the way with the operations now. I want a full operation.
You want people to have operations to be like a bear or an eagle?
If I'm talking to you and you say I identify as a bear,
yes,
I want the full operation. If you identify as a woman, you have to be a full woman.
You have very rigorous standards, Victor.
Enough's enough. I'm talking to a man who's dressed as a woman, and he's saying I should call him Sheila, but he's got a beard. No, you need to have the full operation.
This is
if you're a bear, actually catch salmon and
with your mouth
and attack people in the woods.
Yes.
I mean, this is something that Graham Linehan has talked about, because he went on a lesbian dating site and didn't change anything about his appearance to make the point that this lesbian dating
site... How did he do?
Yeah.
He did pretty well. He pulled. He was quite happy with it. But he was making exactly that point, that there are people with beards and lesbians don't like men. That really shouldn't be controversial, should it? I wouldn't have
No, it shouldn't. And Dodds here says, I know it's been a difficult year for many LGBT plus people, rising hate crime. I mean, has it really?
No, not really.
It seems they dominate the entire culture.
It's the way that hate crime statistics are reported. It's actually, it elevates every year because it has to, right? Because it's all about the perception. So anyone who says, I perceive that this thing happened because it was motivated by homophobia, they add it to the stats. And actually, in real terms, hate crime has continually been going down for many, many years.
Yeah.
So this sort of stuff, but this is really interesting about conversion therapy, because we think of gay conversion therapy as what they used to do back in the 60s, where they plug gay men up to electrodes, cruel forms of torture.
Seriously?
Yeah. That's not what's going on here. They're now talking about conversion therapy, trans conversion therapy. That's just a therapist saying to a kid, maybe there's other issues going on in your life. That's not conversion therapy. They're just calling it that.
Yeah, it's necessary guidance for young people, so it's very dangerous that they're going to get rid of it.
But then there should be no, OK, you want to be a woman? That's brilliant. That should be illegal too.
Well, I would suggest that adults should be able to do whatever they want, but when it comes
talking to children.
We're talking to children. You know, children are not at the stage where they can make those kind of decisions,
they don't care,
as far as I can see. But I mean, I hope you're wrong, Nick, that Labour won't make things worse. But
it's going to be so much worse, and everyone's going to be like, oh, we thought it could be worse. It's going to be so bad. And then Farage is going to come through and win.
Is that right? Yeah. But remember, Nick, all of the gender identity ideology madness has come in under the Tories.
That is true. It's just that it's going to get even worse.
Great.
I know, it seems impossible.
So they just sort of set up the shot and then Starmer scores.
Yeah.
To use a football analogy, which I never do.
You nailed it.
I don't understand the sport.